Going live, Dustin. What is going on YouTube? And welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank y'all so much for joining me and Dustin for this being our review for 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever
Yeah.
After question mark. This is season 9 and this is the tell all part 2. Dustin, how are you doing today? So glad that you're here.
Part two. Or I'm here. We're going through some things, as you know, Jonathan. I'm going through some things right now, but we're going to continue move forward as well as best as I can. I'll try to move forward and and just keep my family and I in prayer tonight. Everybody.
Absolutely. We definitely will, Dustin. Love you and love your family. Let's get to these comments that we have here. Of course, Dustin said hi, first thing. And then we have Auntie Robin in the building. She says, good Friday evening, Dustin. I'm sure she meant Monday evening, but it's okay.
Yes, good evening, everybody.
Auntie
Glad to
Robin
be
also, Auntie
glad to be
Robin
here.
also Absolutely. I'm glad to be here with you, Dustin. Auntie Robin also says, hey, Joe Nathan. Hello, Auntie Robin. So glad that you were here. And then she also says, good evening to all. And then we have Tyrone in the building. Unveil Vibrations. Unveil Vibrations says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Unveil Vibrations. Tyrone, thank you
Good
so much
evening,
for
Tyrone. Good evening, Jennifer. Jennifer's in she's in the back room. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, everyone. So we start off this tell-all part 2, where we left off last week with Andre and Elizabeth versus Alexi and Lauren. And I really don't think that we've been able to come to a conclusion when it comes to these couples. And then Jovi and Yara kind of chimed in a little bit. And I'm so glad that Jovi and Yara really haven't gotten into any mess or drama with the other two couples. Like they're allowing them to take care of their issues. Um, and also it's just very clear to me, me at least personally, that it seems like Elizabeth is checked out. It seems like Elizabeth does not want to be there. Every time that the camera goes to her face, she's got this, she's got this bad look on her face, like she just does not want to be there. Auntie Robin says out in the comments, Lord, Friday, wrong. Yeah, it's okay, Robin. It is totally fine. As long as you're here, girl, that is all that matters to us, honey. Okay. um, but yeah, it does not seem like
You're frozen on my side.
okay, I'm so sorry about that, Dustin. Hopefully, I'll be coming back up soon. And hopefully you can still hear me as I'm talking. Hopefully, we can get this thing figured out here for StreamYard. But yeah. So I guess I'm just torn as to why Alexi and Lauren and Andre and Elizabeth are trying to push this narrative that they're actually friends, when, in my opinion, I don't believe that any of them are friends whatsoever. It doesn't seem that way to me, at least personally. But it is what it is when it comes to these
hmm
couples. So, Dustin, do you
So,
think any of these couples are actually friends at all? Because it doesn't seem like that
no,
way
I
to
do
me.
not. No, I do not. I've been saying this from episode one of the new season. I've been saying that I don't think that they're friends on. I don't think they're friends. I just think they're doing this for the money and the camera time. That's just my opinion. I don't think they're friends on a friend level. If you're a friend level, if you're actually a friend, you're here for them anytime you need them. So that's just how I am. So if you need something from me, I'm here to help you with something. Just like Jonathan is the same way with me. So that just aggravates me to no end, Jonathan. When people say they're friends, and honestly, I can see through them. And to be honest, they're not friends. They're just doing it for the money and camera time. That's just
Absolutely.
my opinion.
T.D. McCullum says to Auntie Robin, "It's okay. You're just ready for the weekend." I can definitely attest to that, Auntie Robin. It is okay. We are all ready for the weekend, honey. But hey, it's the beginning of the week. We gonna all get through it together. And then also, Sean Robinson asked asked Elizabeth directly about what she told Yara concerning what Lauren had been saying. And it was a little bit of semantics when it comes to what was actually said. So they rolled the tape back. And Elizabeth was just telling Yara to be careful around Lauren, saying that, Lauren, possibly can't be trusted. And then Elizabeth said, I didn't say that she couldn't be trusted, but then they rolled the tape back and said, that is actually what you said. So, hopefully we don't see. I honestly, personally, do not want to see Elizabeth and Andre back on 90 Day Fiance. I would love to see Jovi and Yara back. I think they are a fun couple. I think that their issues are quite minimal compared to the other couples that are on the show. So I would love to see Yara and Jovi back. I think Jovi is a very, very handsome guy. And I love his attitude. I love his personality.
Well, I'm looking at.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say this real quick, Jonathan. I just want to say, I don't break. I don't like to break the bad news, but I'll break it here. They're filming for The Last Resort, the new season, The Last Resort. They're filming for this show, so they're gonna be on The Last Resort. So we're gonna be seeing them back on the TV again.
You're talking about Elizabeth and Andre? Dustin, you're talking about Elizabeth and Andre?
Yes.
Okay, cool beans. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess we will see them back on 90 Day Fiance again. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so the couples they break for the day. They all go back to the house. And here's my thing: like, this is just a little thing. If you're going to show us seeing the couples at the house and actually show the audience that the tell-all is being filmed over a couple day duration, why is it that you
Sure.
make the couples wear the same thing while they're on the stage on the next
Mm.
day? Like, if we could all see that, there's no need to make it seem as though it's all, done in one shot. Like, we could see that they are coming on the next with them. But anyways, when we get back to the house, everyone is in
Mm.
one of the people's rooms. I can't even remember what room they're in. But there's some of the couples, decide to play
Mm.
truth or dare. And I personally
Mm.
did not enjoy this. I thought some of the dares were disgusting. First of all, they made Brandon lick a doorknob.
That was gross. That was gross. Mm.
It was it was gross to me as well. Who knows whose unwashed hands were on that handle? And that was just disgusting to me. Then they had Matt. They made Matt suck on Jasmine's toe. I can't remember whether he actually ended up doing it because I feel like
He
he
did.
doesn't
He
like that
did.
experience. Oh, okay, he
Mm.
did. Yeah, but
Mm.
me personally, I'm really not that into feet. Personally, like, it's just not never been my thing. Shout out to those who do have, who do like feet. You're completely valid in what you like, but me personally, it's just
Mm.
never been my thing.
I
Lady
don't like
Virgo's
it
in the
either. I don't like
absolutely,
it.
yeah, me either. Lady
Mm.
Virgo's in the building. Lady Virgo says, "Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Lady Virgo. I'm
Good
so glad
evening,
that
Lady
you
Virgo.
decided to join us. Love you, girl. So glad that you were here." And
Yeah.
then Jasmine dared Stacy to allow Cara to lick her
It was Darcy.
her
No, it was
breast.
Darcy. It was Darcy.
Yeah,
Uh,
Darcy. Yeah, I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Jasmine dared Carla to lick Darcy's breast.
Mm.
So she said that she wanted her to lick her nipple, but Carla said, "No, I'll just lick her breast." Like, Jasmine, like, this looks like teenagers playing truth or dare. And to
Mm-hmm.
me, it was very juvenile. And it's like, are we all not in our 30s and 40s here? Like, can we be a little bit more adult when it comes to these things? But I guess maybe they feel like that's what the audience wants to see. Who knows? But to me, that was disgusting. But while they were playing that truth or dare, some of the guys were downstairs at the bar, and they wanted to see if the phone number that Gino had for Matt was actually his phone number. They wanted to see if he was going to answer the phone. And so Gino calls the number. When Gino calls the number, it goes to voicemail after ringing a couple of times. And then they're
Mm-hmm.
like, well, maybe we can actually go see if Matt's on his phone and see if he actually got the phone call or whatever. But before we move forward, let me get to these two comments from Lady Virgo. Lady Virgo says to Dustin and Joe Nathan, Robin, as well as TD McCullum. Hey, hey, hey. I appreciate you
Mm-hmm.
guys so much for always for always welcoming me. Absolutely. Of course, Lady Virgo, we're always going to welcome you when you come into the building. It is what we do, girl. It is what we
Yes.
do. Then we got Tammy in the building. Hey,
Hey,
Tammy. Thank you
Tammy.
so much for being here.
Hey,
Tammy says,
everybody.
hello, all. Can someone tell me what on earth Darcy was wearing? Right. Or not wearing. Exactly. Thanks the for the view, by the way, Jonathan, on my reel. Of course, Tammy. Anytime I see Tammy on my Instagram timeline, I'm always going to like. I'm always going to, let her know that I see it. So absolutely, you're more than welcome, Tammy. But yeah, to be honest, I didn't have that much of an issue with what Darcy was wearing. But of course, Darcy's always going to wear something sparkly. She has something sparkly on. Of course, she had the tatas out ready for the people and the cameras to see. But yeah, it's Darcy definitely does not dress for a 50-year-old woman, for the 50-year-old woman that she is. Lady Virgo
Mm-hmm.
laughs at what Tammy said. Yeah, Darcy wears which is what she wears. I personally don't have that much of an issue with it, but some other people who watch the show probably would have issues with what Darcy would be wearing, and
I do.
I don't blame you for having that issue.
I
Oh,
do.
Dustin, you have an issue
Mm.
with what she wears as well?
Yes, I do. I don't like it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it, I think
It's
it's I think it's not meant for it's not meant for people. It's not meant for uh on camera TV. You know, there's some things, little things you don't need to wear in public on public TV. No, thank you. And
yeah,
Darcy
yeah.
and Darcy will never know. She don't care what she wears. She just wants to do what she wants to do, and that's up
It,
to
it
her. But I don't like.
yeah, it doesn't seem like Darcy cares what she wears, but Darcy is clearly trying to make herself present herself as younger than she actually is when we can see right on the television that she is 50 years old. Like
Mm,
for me, I don't have an issue with people not dressing their age. It's just that you have to understand at the end of the day that you're not fooling anyone. Like,
mm,
we can all see you. Like, you can have as much plastic surgery as you want, but at
mm.
the end of the day, you're still 50 years old. But anyways, it is what it is. But it seems like the scheme that some of the guys were trying to pull to catch Matt in the lie that that was his phone number. So two of the girls go up to the room where they're playing truth or dare, and they ask Matt, are you getting any text messages, or did you get any calls? And Matt's like, no, we didn't. And so the girls come back downstairs and they're like, our plan didn't work. And and then Gino tries to say, well, I guess the fact that he didn't pick up is just proof that he changed his number, and
Mm.
trying to say it's so obvious that Gino had the right number for Matt, and it's like, Gino, like this is like a non-issue. Like no one cares if you got Matt's number, and no one cares necessarily. Some might care, but I personally don't care
I don't either.
if Jasmine was talking to Matt
Mm.
prior to the last resort. It wouldn't surprise me if they were talking prior to the last resort. But at the end of the day, for me, I'm feeling the same way that a lot of people have been feeling about Jasmine, is that this whole thing with Gino was probably a setup from the get-go. Do I believe that she was actually attracted to Gino? Probably not.
No, I don't.
I do think that Jasmine was using Gino for a green card. That's just my personal opinion on it. I think Jasmine had a
Mm.
plan, and she went through with her plan all the way through, and that's what she did. Tammy says down in the comments, it's not much dressing. Her A's just may have been topless. Well, yeah, the breasts were definitely out for sure. For sure. The breasts were saying hello. The breasts were saying hello to the people. Let's see here. We've got another comment here. Let me see. Let me pull it up really quickly to see who we've got here. Let's see. Let's pull this up. Okay, so Batchett says hi. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate any newcomers coming into the building. But anyways, so Gino's trying to push this narrative that he actually had Matt's number. But me personally, I don't believe he ever had Matt's number. And even if he did, so what? Your marriage is over. I'm not sure if anyone is aware. Basket was the name of the last commenter. Basket. I'm sorry I called you Batchet. Basket is the one in the comments. But I'm not sure if any of you guys were aware, but it was announced earlier last week that Jasmine has actually filed for divorce from Gino. I honestly thought that Jasmine was going to run back to Gino, but apparently not.
Mm.
Jasmine has filed for divorce, so they're actually going through a divorce. Lady Virgo says down in the comments, but something really doesn't add up when it comes to Jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
Because she left her other children back at home. Yeah, which to me tells me, Lady Virgo, and all of you guys who are watching, that Jasmine wanted to do her own thing. She clearly wanted to come to America. She clearly wanted to live in America. Now, how she feels about her children, that's on her. But it does not seem as though she was putting her children first, because I don't even think her children are even teenagers yet. I think that
No, they're
they're under,
not. No,
yeah,
they're not.
I believe that they're under the age of at least 11 or 12. So,
Mm.
when women or men for that matter, because there are two parents in in every child's life, when you do things and you're not considering your children, to me that says to me that you're not putting your children first. And when you are a parent, you have got to put your children first. And it never looks good on anyone when they just leave their children, sort of like Shekinah, who was with Sarper, who went over to Turkey with Sarper, left her she actually had a teenage daughter that was living in America. And it's like, you're clearly putting your own love life before your children. Like, if that's what you want to do, go ahead, and you're doing it on national TV. So people are going to be criticizing you for making those decisions. Lady
Mm-hmm.
Virgo says down here in the comments, when does Jasmine, plan on returning and having all of her children with her?
Never.
That's a good question, Lady Virgo.
Never.
And
Never.
Dustin just said never. So it
Mm-hmm.
does seem like Jasmine really, it makes it seem as though the way that she is doing
Jasmine.
things right now makes it seem as though Jasmine does not care for her children. I'm not saying that she doesn't care, but she's making it seem as though she does not care. We haven't seen her make a call, like she's made a call with her mother earlier in the season, telling her that she's pregnant and she's about to have a child. You would think that she would make a call to her other kids, telling them they're going to have a sister on the way, but that didn't happen. So
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. But anyways, let's move on to Cara and Guillermo. So we actually didn't cover Cara and Guillermo during our reviews. Apparently, their segment was over by the time that we picked up on the show. However, it's clear that, but before we get to that, we have another comment from Lady Virgo. That's just sad on her part, in my opinion. Yeah, it is pretty sad. It seems like she doesn't care about her kids, and you know that's not a good thing at all. But apparently, Carmen and Guillermo had an issue with the fact that Cara has seemingly might have a drinking problem. She didn't say herself that she had a drinking problem, but Sean Robinson did ask her if she had a drinking problem, and she said that she stopped drinking for, I think she said, like a couple of days. And Sean was like, "Well, is there a
He
reason
said a
why you?"
week.
A
A week.
week. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for that, Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
And Sean was like, "Well, is there a reason why you didn't, continue that sobriety journey?" And Carter said, "Well, I just didn't feel as though it was important. So, it is what it is." But also, Carter had an issue with Guillermo not supporting her while she was at her performing events. Carter is a singer. I guess she would consider herself probably a performer as well. And we saw that Guillermo did not attend one of her performances. And Guillermo said that, he doesn't want to see Cara on stage in, skimpy outfits, which, she had on like a skin tight bodysuit while she was performing. I thought she did, okay, for someone who's not a professional performer or artist. I didn't have any issue with what they showed on television as far as her performance was concerned. But Guillermo doesn't want to see her on stage, dancing around. Maybe she might be dancing with her dancers, and she's probably getting a lot of attention. And also, the main issue with Guillermo is that when Carter goes out to perform, she's always drinking. She's always drinking. And Guillermo says that Carter is a different person when she is drinking. She'll call him names. She'll be very rude to him. He doesn't like her when she's drinking, and that tends to be the case with a lot of people who drink. That a lot of times their personality seems to change, and the way that they treat others seems to change as well. And that is a very valid issue that a lot of people have.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't blame him. And they also brought up the fact that one person, someone who is somewhat integral in her career, is someone that she previously had a relationship with. Well, not have a relationship with, but someone she previously had sex with. And Guillermo said that he had been reaching out to Cara, saying that he wanted to go out with her. And Cara, of course, she told him no. Apparently, this other gentleman is married with kids, but he is currently separated from his wife. And Carter even said out loud, "You know what? If he had, if he reached out to me and said that he wanted to have sex with me, I'm sure that he would, he would go for it, and he would, he would do it to it." And Guillermo has a very big issue with that. And we come to the conclusion that Guillermo doesn't know if he truly does love Carla as his wife. He loves her as the mother of his child, but he doesn't love her necessarily as his wife. And to
Mm,
me, that spells that the relationship is over. I was telling
yeah.
Dustin before we went live, because we didn't necessarily see their story throughout the season. I still do not understand the reason why Carter and Guillermo aren't together right now. They're currently
Mm-hmm.
separated. They are married, but they are currently separated. And they
Mm-hmm.
didn't really get to that issue during the tell-all. So at the end of the day, I still don't know why Carter and Guillermo aren't together anymore. But personally, I really don't care, whether they're together or not. As long as they're both happy and as long as they're treating their child with respect and love, that's all that matters to me. But Dustin, what was your opinion on Carter and Guillermo's segment during the tell-all?
Why even waste the time of being? Why even waste the time of being on the show? That's a waste of time for the viewers and yourself. I don't want to see him back next season at all.
Yeah, I'm assuming that we won't see Cara and Guillermo. There's a chance that they might be on a last resort season in the future,
Mm-hmm.
because last resorts are typically for couples who are at their wits' end and who do not see the light at the end of the tunnel, do not see their relationship lasting. So we'll see if that's the case. But me personally, I think Guillermo is a very handsome man, so I wouldn't mind seeing Guillermo personally on TV again. Not necessarily with Carter if we have to see Carter again, but Guillermo's he's a very handsome man, and I do like the way that he puts his foot down on the issues that he has. They also discussed the fact that Carter was saying that she put more into the house than Guillermo did, and she's trying to get his name taken off of the lease, I think it is. So
Mm-hmm.
Guillermo says he has no real issue with that, but we'll see what happens if they are to return to the 90 Day Fiance franchise. And then we ended this tell all with Brandon and Julia. Julia walked over to Sean right before the segment started and saying that, she doesn't know what she's going to do. And, she's really nervous about their segment. And Sean gives her a hug and she's very consoling. And I love seeing this. And Sean said, "I understand why you feel that way, but you are okay. You will get through this. This is not Julia's first time at the rodeo at a tell all. So, I get why she was feeling the way that she was feeling. And I'm so glad that she had Sean there to console her. And Dustin, you were saying that you liked that moment too, as well, didn't
Yes,
you?
I like that moment. I like to see Sean Robertson actually doing her job as best as she can and showing the love and support from other people. You know that sometimes you have to be as a host and as a TV show, you have to play both roles at the same time. So sometimes I don't agree with Sean Robertson, but most of the time I do. So I think that Sean Robertson is doing the best job as hosting as much as she can, and I like to see that. I like to see that more often from Sean Robertson, if that is possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I did love seeing that side of Sean Robinson because I've actually never seen her console another participant there. When Jasmine got up and walked out, walked off the set in the first part, Sean was like, "Girl, just come on, come on here." But I think that she saw that Julia was truly having issues and truly, emotional in that moment. And I'm so glad that Sean was there to console her. And so,
Yeah.
anyway, so we get to Brandon and Julia, and Sean asked them, what's going on with your fertility issues? How are you doing personally? What's going on? And Julia got a little bit of emotional. And then she revealed to everyone in the cast that she is 6 months pregnant. Was she, Dustin?
6 months, yes, 6 months.
Yes, she is
She's
six months pregnant.
she's more than halfway. She's in the second trimester. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. She's got about 3 months left in her pregnancy. Prayerfully, hopefully the baby goes to term. And I'm so glad that all the girls got up. And because Sean said, I think Julia needs a hug, and I'm so glad that Sean asked for the other ladies to to hug Julia in that moment. And I thought that was so sweet. And I'm so glad that Brandon was there to be there to support her as well. I do like Brandon, you guys. I really do like Brandon. I think Brandon is a really sweet man. And I think that he's a very genteel man as well. Not a
Mm-hmm.
lot of men out there are as genteel as Brandon is, and I do like the way that he presents himself on television.
Yeah.
I'm still a little bit confused about Julia because I didn't like her so much when she was refusing to even talk about having a child with Brandon. But once she did end up getting pregnant, I was then on her side. So I'm always flipping and flopping with these couples. It's a little bit frustrating for me as a viewer, but hopefully, I think behind the scenes, without the cameras on, I think Brandon
Mm.
and Julia are a true and authentic, real, loving couple. Like I do see the love between the two, especially Brandon to Julia. He truly does love Julia with all his heart, and I love seeing that.
Mm.
And then, Sean was like, well, Sean said that, you haven't told your parents, Julia, and you haven't told Brandon's parents either. And you know that Brandon's parents are going to be appearing on the show momentarily. Are you guys ready to break the news to them? And so then they bring on Brandon's parents, Betty, and I can't remember his father's name, but Betty and Brandon's
Ron.
father, Ron. Ron, thank you so much for that, Dustin. So
Mm-hmm.
Ron and Betty come onto the camera, and Betty says that she's feeling a disconnect between herself and Julia, and she feels as though whenever she tries to open up to Julia, Julia just closes the door. And I think that Betty doesn't realize the impact that she has on Julia, and her sticking her nose in Brandon and Julia's marriage is not a good thing. And I wish that Brandon had the gumption to let his mother know the way that his mother's actions are affecting his wife. And I feel as though if he had that conversation with his mother Betty, I think that Betty would kind of revise the way that she treats Julia and maybe back off a little bit. But
Mm.
on this second part, Julia has not revealed the information. Julia and Brandon have not revealed the information to Brandon's parents yet. So, Dustin, I'll ask you this question before we go. How
Yeah.
do you think that Brandon's parents are going to take the news? Do you think they'll be
They're
upset that
not. They're
they
not.
waited
They're,
so
they're not
long?
going to handle it well. They're not going to handle it well, and neither I wouldn't handle it well either. Because I think if you hide something like that, what else can you be hiding, Johnson? That's good. That's pretty much that's a heavy thing for me. I would tell somebody like that if you're expecting grandkids in the future, something like that. She's 6 months pregnant. Why didn't you tell her a long time ago? I don't agree with that part, but that's just me. So other people might have a different opinion, and that's okay. But that's how I feel about the situation.
I do think that Brandon's, especially Betty, I think she's going to be extremely upset that Julia and Brandon waited so long to tell them. However, I do think that she's going to modify her authentic reaction because she is on camera and because she is on national television. I think
Mhm.
that they are going to present joy to the cameras. I think they're going to present that they are happy and that they feel like this is going to bring them closer as a family. But
Mhm.
another thing that one of the other women said is that as soon as you tell Betty, she's going to be moving right on in. And I think
I
that that
agree.
might be an actual possibility that Betty might feel as though she needs to move in to be an integral part of that grandchild's life. And that
Mhm.
is not going to go well at all. Dustin, you think that might happen as well?
Yes, I do agree. Mhm.
I personally don't think that Julia would allow that. I hope that she wouldn't allow that because if I were in Julia's shoes, that would not be happening whatsoever.
Mhm.
Although I've never been in a relationship before and I do want to get married one day, I don't know how I would feel
And I
about
want that. I want that to happen for you as well, Jonathan. So,
Thank you. Thank you
yes,
so much, Justin. And I want that for you as well. Everyone deserves love. Everyone deserves to
happiness.
experience
Yes,
love and
love.
happiness for sure.
Mhm.
But me personally, I wouldn't want my parents to be living with me, and I would not be comfortable with my in-laws living with me as well, because I probably would feel like we will be walking on eggshells everywhere we go and everything that we're doing. I would feel as though we're being analyzed, everything that we do or every decision that we make. And I need for me and my partner to be able to make the decisions together, collectively, as a team, as a partnership, and not have outside sources trying to give their opinions on what we should be doing. Although that is a great thing to be able to get help from others, but I want myself and my partner to be able to make the decision on our own. But
That's right.
but yeah, we'll see what happens in the next part of the tell-all. And also, when we saw the preview for the next part, it seems like a majority of the women are on Darcy's side when it comes to her and Georgie, which I'm not going to be looking forward to, because I really want these women to tell Darcy how she is acting. But I guess because a lot of the times the women typically act the same on this show, they're probably going to be on Darcy's side, and I'm not going to enjoy that whatsoever. But we have to go through it because we're reviewing the show, so it is what it is, and we will get through it. But before we get out of here, Dustin, why don't you share with the people your social media contacts real quick?
My social media contacts with Dustin Butler, my Instagram with Dustin Butler 700, my Facebook with Dustin Butler. And I want to thank for Jonathan for always being here as well. And we'll see you next week for episode 3, part 3. And then after that, we'll have episode 4, and then we'll have a new show after that. So I'll be glad if we continue to the news program after that.
Absolutely, Dustin. Thank you so much for being here with me, Dustin, and thank you all the viewers, Lady Virgo, as well as Auntie Robin, and TD McCullum, and Tammy, and our newer commenter. And we have the one last comment to get to here, and then I will give you guys my social media contacts, and then we will get on out of here. Okay, so Olivia O says, I think Julia should be grateful she has Brandon's family support. Though I get the middle, but still, yeah, it's a hard thing to kind of navigate, Olivia. And thank you so much for being here, Olivia. This is my first time seeing you in one of my chats. So thank you so much for being here. Hope you're here for my other videos. But I do think Julia should be grateful for the support. But at the same time, I do think Betty does kind of overstep a little bit. And is too involved in their marriage. Like me personally, I don't think that's a great thing. It's great to have support, but that support can be from a distance, at least in my opinion. But that's how I feel. But if you feel differently, Olivia, that's completely fine. But you guys can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is JoJo_speaks3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is williamjonathanlee@gmail.com. My Cash App is $JonathanLee07. That's $JonatanLee07. Be sure to join me on Thursday night at 8 p.m. for my Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. I go live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. with my girls, my sister Jennifer, as well as our good friend Bianca. We always have a great time on that show. Also, join us next Monday, same time, same place, same beautiful faces for our review for the third part of the tell-all. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you have a great week. Be safe out there. Love you guys for watching. You guys enjoy.
And please please join him on Jennifer, his sister, show tonight. She does a very good job on her show as well. So please join her over there on the Beautiful Reiki show tonight as well.
Absolutely. Prophetic Fire Reiki is going live at 8 p.m. The time has changed now that Jennifer is in a new space. So she will be going live at 8 p.m. tonight. So be sure to join Prophetic Fire Reiki, aka Jennifer Star McCullum, tonight at 8 p.m. for her show on tonight. Love you guys for watching. See you guys.